The biggest battle we will ever have to face is the battle between you and you. It's the battle of taking your mind to that limit and then breaking through. On the Mindful Experiment podcast, we will share concepts, universal laws, and interviewing individuals who have done just that, who have gone through the dark times and through those moments allowed their light to shine bright. I'm your host, DrVic Manzo, and I want to thank you for listening to the podcast and taking this journey with me as we discover different avenues to break through those limits, expand your reality, and evolve into the person you desire to be. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Hey everyone, this is Dr. Vic, and you're listening to The Mindful Experiment as we dive into concepts, ideas, interviews, and many more of people, individuals, or myself sharing things to help empower your life, this whole experiment of life, the experiment of the mind, how to expand to achieve what the reality of what you want to experience, and so much more. It's really been a fun week for me, a very high demand week, very fun and exciting, and I thought this was a great topic as I've been chatting about this not just with clients, but also with my own coach about some things. And I thought, this would be interesting to share a great little episode on. In life, there's times where you get overwhelmed, right? You get burnt out, you get anxious, there's too much going on, don't have time for this, or it's just like you have some big changes happening. Sometimes they're happening a little faster than you expected, or, just things that are revving up in a good way. And you're kind of like, oh my goodness, how am I going to keep up? How am I going to hold on to this? How am I going to do this? And it's one of those things where you look at this kind of a thing where the process and the ideas of that when you go through this type of experience, when you have these things, what can you do to calm? What can you do to get clarity? What can you do to get through all the noise to really see what really matters and how you can thrive in that realm? And so for me, one of the things I wanted to share with you guys in this podcast, it's a short one, it'll probably be less than 10 minutes, but what I wanted to share is that anytime you feel those things, what happens is you got lost or distracted in some way and you lost clarity on your vision, you lost clarity on the momentum where you want to move forward and how you want to get going. And what ends up happening is you lose priorities. In the sense of, like, let's say you have a ton of things to do, you got a ton of things happening, and there's massive change happening in a good way, and you're like, I don't know what to do. Oh my goodness, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. Oh my God, I have to do this. Or you haven't had it where you haven't taken care of your house for a while, and all of a sudden it gets very backed up, so there's a lot of things happening. It's unorganized. You're like, I don't even know where to start. Well, it's, again, lack of clarity, right? What's the priority? What should you look at? And so priority or prioritizing things really helps gain clarity. And it's really great. I practice this often, and it's one of the things where I look back and sometimes I forget, and that's why I came up with Combo. But it's looking at how can you prioritize your life so that you don't get overwhelmed? How can you prioritize your life so you don't get over anxious? How can you prioritize your life so you don't lead to burnout, right? Clarity is always the thing you need. When you don't have clarity, you're just going to be walking through a fog, hopefully getting to where you want to go. And so clarity is that sense, is that perspective of shifting gears, things to get you to really pay attention to what is a priority, what really, really, really needs to be done right here, right now. What are those things that you need to focus on? What are those things that are an absolute must get done, right? Then you have low priority, where are things that are, they could be done, but it's no rush. I could do this next week. These are the things you can push off until it becomes a priority. And in life, you're going to have high priorities and low priorities, and the low priorities become high priorities, and it's just going to go back and forth. But the thing is, you want to be crystal clear on what are those priorities and what are the clarity that you need. And when you look at this and strategizing it, what it really does is it really helps you conceptualize and see where do you need to spend your energy and your time, right? That's the biggest thing, because burnout happens when you're trying to do all these things and hopefully chiseling away at all of it. And you don't know if you're doing things or getting things done. And most of the time, burnout is focusing on things that are low priority and missing out on things that are high priority. And then you wonder why later in life, you're not where you wanted to be, or things aren't as good as you like it to see, or business or marriage, relationships, or whatever it may be, because of priorities, right? And so it's focusing on the top priorities. This is not something new I've shared before. This is actually, it comes from, I've studied many millionaires and billionaires, and I've learned that this is what they're experts at. What are the priorities that need to be done today? What are the priorities I need to get done for the week? What are the priorities that I need to have done for the month? That's what I'm focusing on. That's it. There may be times a low priority becomes a high, but it's not often because I have clarity, because I'm crystal clear on what it is I got to create, what I need to do, and how I have to go ahead and move forward with things. I think this is a great concept to share because it's also along the line. It focuses on the line. Well, it vibes along the lines of where you put your energy and focus to, right? Because what you focus on only grows. And if you're focusing on things that are a high priority and have a high value to you, well, guess what? You're going to knock those out, continue to move forward and be able to take on more things while achieving more success in any area that you're looking at, right? So how do you prioritize? Like, for example, for me, I have to work out 5 days a week. That's just an absolute. There's no question about it. So when I look at my week, I prioritize. Well, I should do this. Well, do I really need to do that part right now? That could wait. I can get my workout in, right? And so I do prioritizing when it comes to my workout. My morning rituals, I never miss. That's going to be something that, if you're listening to the podcast here right now, it's one of the things that I'll be doing stories on my Instagram page. Check it out at DrVic Manzo. And it's one of those things where I can go ahead and share with you, my morning ritual, and I'll be walking through the back scenes, if you like to call it, of all that to see how I do my morning ritual and so forth. But that is something I square out throughout my day, no matter what. It's an absolute. I never miss. It's because it's that critically important to me. It is massively on the high priority list, and it always makes sure it oversees pretty much anything. Even if I have to stay up late to catch up on work because I had to do morning ritual stuff, or I woke up late and I had to get my morning ritual done, that's fine. I'm okay with that because it's a priority to me to make sure I get those things done first. And so it's really looking at your life and really saying, what is something that I must focus on? What are some things I must pay attention to? What are some things that I really, really need to focus? That's going to be big priorities and big things that I need to make sure that I'm getting done. And then the lows, those can happen whenever. And sometimes may not even get to them for a couple months. It's funny how that works. I mean, I've heard many times, people start a business and they spend forever on a logo. Why are you spending forever on a logo? It's not going to matter to people. Just make it look somewhat to what you like it to look like, and that's it. And let's move forward. Like, there's no point in wasting time. And you can change logos as time goes on. Yeah, it's a pain in the butt for marketing stuff, but you're wasting time on a low priority that's not going to help you succeed, start to create the impact you want to create, and so much more. When it comes to life and marriage, what's the priorities that keep your marriage rocking and rolling, right? What are the high priorities? What are the things you need to focus on, right? Date nights, appreciations, so much more. It's one of the things where, Kobe Bryant passing a couple weeks ago, unexpected. It's one of those things where it put a lot in perspective for me because he had his daughter with her and now his wife and his kids, the rest of his kids, they have a father and they lost a sister and the rest of the families too that were involved. It's one of those things where it put things in perspective for me to be like, you know what? I do appreciations, but I got to level up. I have to level up because what if one day I think that everything's all great and dandy and my day is gone, or vice versa. And, I don't want to get grim and dark here, but it's just a reality. And the thing is, how do I focus on that to make sure that I am leveling up and making that a top priority no matter what? No matter what. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to have what I desire because I'm being the person doing the things and making that happen. So look at your life, and you can do this with health, mental health, physical health, and I just mentioned a few. Financial health is another one, right? What are the priorities? You know what? I got some credit cards I got to pay off, so I'm not going to put savings in this month, and I'm just going to go pay those off. No. Now, don't take financial advice from me. This is not financial advice, just to throw a disclaimer here. But it's a priority thing that if it's really that high of a priority to save, you may say, you know what? I could pay this off next month. I'm going to take a little bit of a hit, but I don't want to mess up my savings. And it's one of those things to do. I do this. I don't recommend it in the sense because I'm not a financial advisor by any means. But one of the things I do is that I make sure I always put savings in no matter what. No matter what, I'm putting something in. It could be as minimal as 10% up to 40%. But I'm always putting away, and then I invest some of it because I want to continually grow. It's a priority for me no matter what. And so what are your priorities? What are you focusing on? What are the things that are happening in your life? Put the priorities in. What are the highest things you have to focus on? And then make sure the low priorities stay as low. And whenever it comes time to needing them, go ahead. If you run a business, you have employees, top priorities, you do it. Low priorities, have them do it. You delegate those things. But at the same token, it's also one of the things that as a team, right, maybe you have high priorities for yourself, But then there's other high priorities, but you don't need to do those because you have a team to help you, and you do that with your team and so forth. So this is something that you can map out in so many different ways of your life to really get some clarity, to stay aligned with the vision, and so much more. That's pretty much all I got for today, guys. So if you have any questions, shoot me an email at drvic@empoweryourreality.com. Check out some of the books I've had. My new book, Walk in the Dark, has been absolutely amazing. We dive into some of these concepts. Rediscover Your Greatness was another one. Get in tune. Get connected with me on Instagram at Dr. Vic Manzo, or on Facebook at Dr. Vic Manzo. I am posting, like I said, I'm going to share some stories, doing more of those lately, and you get some more of the behind the scenes stuff. As I get into tomorrow, starting showing you my morning ritual and what I do at 4 something in the morning and how my day looks like, so that you can see what I do that helps me empower me to get me centered, because it's that high of a priority. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. As always, if you like the videos, you like the episodes, and you really, really, you like it, you've been tuning in, throw a review on iTunes, share with a friend, a podcast, and help us get this impact out there, as we're really trying to maximize our reach, maximize our growth, and so much more. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. And as always, until next time, keep rocking and rolling.
Thank you for listening to the podcast. For past shows, please visit www.empoweryourreality.com. I hope this show inspired you and added to your life to help you on the journey to rediscover who you really are. To connect with us on Facebook, please visit www.facebook.com/Dr. Vic Manzo. Check us out on Twitter. The handle is Dr. Vic21. Follow us on Instagram, www.instagram.com/Dr. Vic Manzo. If you were inspired by the podcast, pay it forward by sharing it with someone who you know can benefit from it. Thank you again for listening to the Mindful Experiment podcast, sharing paths to help you rediscover your infinite potential.